Ready, Tom? You good? Welcome, everybody. Thank you for bearing the bad weather coming in here tonight. I'd like to start this regular town board meeting. It is February 22nd. The time is 6:31 p.m. Would everybody please rise for a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like everybody to please stand and just take a moment and think about the Druck-Dreyer family. She was a staff recreation department worker for a long time, and she lost their battle this week. Rest in peace, Shannon. Thank you. At this time, if there's any public comment on agenda items only, please approach the podium. This is on agenda items only, sir. If it's something you need to say that's not on the agenda, you have the time at the end of the meeting for public comments. Okay? You got it. Seeing nobody approaching the podium for agenda items only, I'd like to move that we open the public hearing on a proposed local law to impose a temporary town-wide moratorium on the approval and installation of certain public utility infrastructure and facility installations for a period of 180 days. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made by myself, seconded by Deputy Supervisor House. Any discussion? All in favor to open the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? 4-0, 1 absent. The public hearing is now open. Do we have a list?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. For those of you that were speaking tonight, first on the list is Ed Friend. You'll have 3 minutes, sir, to state your case, ask a question, any comments, and we'll see where you're at if we have to go a little further.
I'd like to say, first of all, thank you for taking this under consideration. I am definitely in favor of this law and perhaps even hope to see it like a more permanent thing. I've just recently moved to Dover Plains. I moved at the end of the summer, and as my retirement home, and kind of walked into the whole Transco thing. Now, as far as the Transco things goes, they could have used more time, honestly. There were still questions that the public had. There was still, stuff that they needed to know before they made a decision. Now, I'm not faulting the board. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. But it could have used more time and thought. When you have something of this kind of a nature of the power grid and all that stuff, it's a long-term thing. It's, there's little incentives and things that the company will throw at you, but what you need to look at is the long term, and for the community, for the children, for their children and their children's children. Once the shovel goes in the ground, it's pretty much over at that point if something goes wrong. And taking the time to learn and figure everything out, that every bit of thought that can go into this, we can make a proper decision for the town, for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Lucia?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, please just state your name.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucia Chiocchio. I'm with Cuddy and Fader. And yesterday, my partner, Anthony Mirando, submitted a letter on behalf of our client, New York Transco, with respect to a simple suggested clarification in the exemption portion of the moratorium to clarify that projects that are approved may proceed through construction pursuant to those approvals. As you may know, earlier this month, the Planning Board did issue site plan, special permit, and stormwater approval for the project and a seeker determination. As also noted in the letter that was submitted yesterday, the Transco project is critical for distributing clean energy in the state, and that was confirmed by the chair of the PSC. So we would respectfully request that you consider our comments, and thank you for your time.
First, I will say, Tommy, didn't we clarify with the gentleman that reached out to us that this wouldn't affect them because of how far along they were?
Yes, under the law, this is Transco was approved by the planning board. They have their approvals. This legislation would affect potential future projects.
I thought
I think they're just seeking
if we didn't make that clear
clarification.
enough now, that's why I asked the question.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Jill Fieldstein.
Good evening. Jill Fieldstein, 39 Northeast Mountain Road. I'm here on behalf of myself and the concerned citizens of Dover. As I think you received, I submitted a markup of the proposed law, which I want to thank you very much for considering. Very important piece of legislation. And I wanted to just indicate that some of the markup is to make this law consistent with the moratorium on solar that was imposed earlier this year. Some of the provisions in this law do not have the same provisions that were included in that moratorium. So some of my suggested markup was to make that consistent. Other aspects of the markup, just to give a little more teeth to the moratorium, should it pass. And I wanted to know if you had any questions I could answer about the markup.
We've received a couple, one from yourself, as you said, and they will be read, they will be looked at and taken into consideration, and we will possibly be editing the one that we have here tonight with us. Myself and council have talked about that. We'll talk about it later on as well with the board members, and it will be taken into consideration.
Okay, again, I want to thank you for taking this up. It's much appreciated and much needed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Steve Vincent.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the town board for considering this draft law. It gives the zoning revisions committee a little bit of breathing room. It's not a 100% catch-all probably, but it's the best, and it'll give us 180 days to revisit all of the infrastructure plans and what our zoning says. But I'd really like to thank the board and Rich Eno for giving us the encouragement to do the master plan and get going on the rezoning. It sat idle for so many years. And you also gave us the funding to get the help that we need in drafting other provisions that 30 years ago we wouldn't even have an idea would be going on today. So I'm in favor of this law. I really do appreciate you guys doing it, and I would like to thank you for the efforts you've done to with the master plan and the rezoning. All right.
Thank you, Steve. To reiterate that, you're right. It was a big step That comprehensive plan sat, I wouldn't say idle, but it was on two separate supervisors' desks, and that was one of our goals 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And again, I'll always, to the end, thank that committee for doing what they did, especially with getting the late start that you all did in 2020. So, thank you again, and I appreciate the kind words for the board, on behalf of the board. I have no other names on this list. Is there anything else anybody else that would like to speak on the moratorium only?
I think I signed that list and crossed my name off. And
Frank Mancuso?
That's it.
There you go.
Thank so much.
You crossed it off, that's why I didn't say it.
Okay, I'm from Millbrook. The delay is critical for the following reasons, and I want to thank you for it. Substations kill thousands of people and require a health and safety plan. Independent monitoring and testing should be done, and not by DEC or by Transco. And some of the issues are, does the site have PCBs? Con Edison has dumped PCBs in the area, and proper testing is necessary before any real disturbance happens over there. How will the transformers be cooled? Oil or gas? Both have serious issues. You will need to implement firefighting regulations for transformer fires. I don't know if they're in place, but transformer fires are different from all other fires. And you need to address drainage issues. Any toxin should not go into any type of body of water. So I think there's a lot more to be thought out before any approval is given. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other names on the list. Is there anybody else that would like to speak at the podium on the moratorium topic? Seeing nobody approach the podium, I'll make a motion to close this public hearing, but keep it open for, till next meeting. Tom, what's your suggestion? What do you think?
I think you could you have a couple options. You could close the public hearing totally. The board could close the public hearing and keep it open for written comment.
That's what I mean. I'm going to add,
Or I wouldn't go to the next meeting because I think this is fairly time sensitive, and I'd like to be able to potentially, for the board, if we are going to make changes to the draft, I need to get it to the town board members. They have to be on your desk for 7 days for you to review it prior to taking any action. The March meeting is
From the 29th.
29th.
29th, so I would ask that you could give the public reasonable amount of time to submit written questions or suggestions or comments, but enough time that I could ultimately get a final draft to the town board for them to act on the 29th.
March 8th.
That's fine.
March 8th? Yep. Sound good? I'll make a motion to close the public hearing tonight, but keep it open for written comments until March 8th. And then we will discuss on the next regular meeting on March, what was it, 29th? March 29th.
Before you close, I just got a quick question. Tom, are we in the process of the previous moratorium?
Yes.
There's a solar moratorium right now.
Just the solar?
Correct. This would broaden it to all.
But I guess, would they overlap?
They would overlap.
So would it be beneficial if we kept that one on the record and then move this one out another 6 months?
This would be for 180 days with a renewable
From the
for
time we-
another. It had nothing
time
to
we
do with the
voted.
solar.
Nothing, okay.
Yeah.
And what it does is, it's overlapping the
When it
solar, but it will pick up the solar issues as well.
Correct.
Once the solar is, the actual
The
solar.
the moratorium was strictly on solar.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is more
this would include
broad,
it.
Got it.
much more broad.
Okay.
Okay, the motion is made to close tonight's public hearing, keep it open for written comments to the 8th, and then re-entertain the topic on the 29th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself and seconded by Deputy Supervisor House. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. 4 ayes, 1 absent. Thank you.
Tom, just a quick question. Will we need input from state, county, Public Service Commission, anything like that on this?
I plan to send as a courtesy to Dutchess County Planning as well as the Town Planning Board.
Okay.
But I do not plan to notify the state. The reason why the law was drafted like it states, and it's certain, the key word is certain.
Yeah.
We don't have jurisdiction over
Public utilities.
certain public utilities, like the pipeline. A moratorium in Dover will have zero effect over something like that. That's state regulated or federally regulated, so that's why the word certain was in there. This would impose a moratorium on items of public utility and infrastructure that the town of Dover has jurisdiction over. We can't regulate items that we don't have jurisdiction over.
Reports from the Recreation Department, Highway Superintendent. We'll go with the Recreation Department first. Jay?
All right, this month's recreation report from Julie. The Easter egg hunt will be held on Saturday, April 8th at 1 o'clock. The Dover Day Camp starts on Monday, July 3rd, and it goes through August 11th. Registration for camp begins on March 1st. We are in need of employees, so those who wish to partake in the summer camp, please reach out to the Recreation Department. Day camp employee applications will also be available for pickup at the Recreation. That was also skipped. And Boys Park electric fence has been installed and is now activated. The gate is programmed to automatically open and close from dawn to dusk. If you are in the park when they close, drive up slowly to the gate and they will open. You will not get stuck in the park. Save the date. Dover Day is on September 16th. And that's it.
Electric fence kind of made me think of it. But, yeah, so take notice of that.
Yeah,
The lighting will be done after it as well. Highway report?
Town of Dover Highway Department. Town of Dover Highway Department has gone out throughout the month of February maintaining and grading the dirt roads, doing ditch work, and cleaning out drains. The Highway Department has been and will continue cutting down brush and trees on various roads in the town of Dover. The department has been sanding and salting roads due to inclement weather. We have been working with different residents who have volunteered to pick up trash along the roads, and a group of high school seniors who requested to do a community work hours cleaning up of trash along the roads. Joe, our mechanic, has been doing monthly maintenance on all of our equipment. Jason would like to thank Joe, his mechanic, for his dedication for keeping the equipment running, and the rest of the team for their hard work. Jason would also like to thank Terry for all her hard work keeping the office going. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports of the supervisor and the town board members. Councilwoman Jackson?
The Dover Plains Library is having a activity as a craft supply swap on March 25th, so contact the library for that. And the tax collector has asked me to mention that she is adding a tax collection day, weather permitting, Tuesday, February 8th from 1 to 3:30 p.m. here at the town hall.
28th.
Tuesday, February 28th from 1 to 3:30 p.m. here at the town hall, weather permitting.
That's it? Thank you. Councilman Murphy?
no report this month.
Deputy Supervisor House?
Just a few things. Jason our superintendent was willing to give me a couple hours last week in trying to lay out the concrete pads that will be installed down at the J.H. Ketchum Park along the walking track. This is going to be 5 concrete pads. There'll be 2 pieces of outdoor workout equipment per pad. The idea here is to kind of have something that really no other town does in our area, in that not only would you be able to have the walking track, but also the workout equipment, in the hopes of hosting like these HIIT classes, which is kind of a popular thing right now. This high interval training. So we're in the works for that. Pray for some good weather, and we can get those concrete pads in and that equipment out as soon as spring breaks here. March 18th and March 19th, kind of a busy weekend for our town. On the 18th, a fundraiser for the Center of Compassion. They're doing a corned beef and cabbage dinner at St. Charles Church. Larry House is going to be whipping up corned beef and cabbage. I would recommend you be there. He does a pretty good job at it. On the 19th, we have our second annual 5K run from J.H. Ketchum. This is in collaboration with the Eastern Duchess Roadrunners and John Morris, who leads that, who is a resident of Dover. Great event. I think to date we have 86 runners signed up, which is for this early on is pretty good. So that is a great event that kicks off about 8:30, 8:45. The run starts at 9. Everyone is invited back afterwards. The Lions Club is going to be whipping up shamrock shakes, very similar to last year. We provide a light breakfast as well, just to kind of, show people our hard work down at that park in its kind of transformation. So please try to be available that weekend. It'll be a good weekend for our town. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. All right, supervisor's report. Just tonight, the weather tonight, I put out an update a little while ago. You're going to see it's going to be turning to freezing rain later on tonight. Just be safe out there. Jason told me that they have been out. They were out when we talked about 2 hours ago. And his plans are to come in early tomorrow and check the roads, but they will work as long as they have to, as well as the county, until they feel the roads will hold overnight, and then they'll come in early and start and check them out. So everybody knows as well, I've been talking about it, the work has begun here at the town hall, so the offices are moving out. The movers are coming Friday. Some of the computers have been relocated. It's getting ready for the painting and the floors. That is phase 3 of the project here. So please be patient with all of us. We will be working in different areas and or from home. Calls may have to go through the clerk's office to be distributed to my office or building. Or the finance office. They'll be directed where they need to go. We will get back to you. I promise we will get back to you if it's not right away. Work will last about 2 to 2.5 weeks, we're hoping, and then we'll be back in our offices and everything will be back in order. Please continue to check our website and the local social media pages that we have here throughout the town. We try to share whatever we can, important dates of events, meetings, and other information on there as well. And again, be safe and careful tonight and tomorrow. And with that, that's all I have.
I don't think it really changes much for
Some people change.
Just because. Yeah, sure. I can
Just so everybody knows, and Jill, you may be familiar with this too, if I may say your name. The petition process for this year's elections are coming up soon. And for a lot of you, you may not know that the election, your voting districts changed. Dover went from 6 to 4 districts. So you need to check with Board of Elections, or sometimes you'll get that card in the mail, and you may have been a District 3, but you may be a 2 now. All right? Don't know. I haven't seen the final maps, but they're coming out. The process starts in just about less than a week for whoever the candidates are for the town this coming November to carry the petition, which is what we do here in Dover. So make note of that. Go online or make a phone call and ask, so you're not confused when somebody different that may usually come to your house, somebody different may come if they're representing a certain district. All right, so just keep that in mind. We'll try to share that. I'm sure both committees within the town will get that information out, and we'll go from there. Okay?
The one part, the piece of this that we're still unsure of is how the new election districts may affect where you vote. So
Yeah.
obviously, as we get more information on that, you'll be the first to know. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else forget anything? Got anything?
So,
Madam Clerk, anything?
No, thank you.
Resolutions. Resolution to authorize and approve the consent agenda items. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby approve the following items for consideration and adoption on the February 22nd, 2023 Town Board regular meeting consent agenda. Authorize the payment of abstract number 2 of 2023 in the amount of $1,187,177.98. Accept minutes to the Town Board meeting of January 25th, 2023. Approve the Town Clerk's report for January 2023. Approve the Town Supervisor's financial report for January 2023. And authorize the budget transfers, budget amendments, and payment of off-abstract purchase orders as prepared and submitted by the town's bookkeeper. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Brought by House, seconded by Murphy. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried, one absent. Skip one?
What do you got?
I got appointing the member. All right, we'll go to that one. Resolution authorizing the installation of JHK Park Security System. Whereas the Town of Dover desires to purchase and install certain security system items for the use at JHK Park, and whereas the Town of Dover sought proposals which were received and reviewed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby accept the proposal of A&R Security of Poughkeepsie, New York, in the amount of $7,490 for the purchase and installation of security equipment for JHK Park. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize necessary budget modifications in the amount of $7,490 to amend the 2023 budget by an increase to revenue account A 4089.001 and increase the expenditure account A 1620.4.420. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by Murphy, seconded by Jackson. Any discussion?
This is, our goal at J.H. Ketchum Park is as the park gets busier, naturally, security becomes needed at these types of facilities. So this is kind of a two-part security system, a burglary-style system, very similar to what we have at the rest of our facilities for the building itself, and then a closed-circuit camera system to protect our residents and our facilities. So,
Wingdale Park was already done.
yes.
This just keeps it going further to our properties are protected. Any other discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried, one absent. Resolution appointing members of the Town of Dover Zoning Code Updated Committee. Whereas the Town of Dover recently adopted updates to the Town of Dover Comprehensive Plan, and whereas the Town of Dover now wishes to update the Town of Dover Zoning Code, and whereas the Town of Dover desires to create a committee to review the current Town of Dover zoning code and recommend updates to the Town of Dover zoning code. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize the creation of the Town of Dover Zoning Code Update Committee, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby appoint Richard Renia Jr., Deborah Kaufman, Jason Keller, Valerie LaRobediere, Peter Sander, Stephen Vincent, David Wylock, and Marilyn Van Millen to the Town of Dover Zoning Code Update Committee, and be it further resolved that the members shall serve at the pleasure of the Town Board. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by Murphy, seconded by House. Any discussion? This is basically the same committee that helped rewrite, along with the consultant that we had, the comprehensive plan, and now they're just taking it another bunch of steps further and going from there. Same committee. It is business owners, landowners, former chairs of planning boards and zoning boards, secretary to the planning and zoning. She's a member as well. Again, I thank them all. They did a fabulous job on that. Nothing but good remarks from the county planning, and they'll just take it even further now. Any other discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried, one absent. At this point in time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Deputy Supervisor Andrew House. Due to the fact on this resolution, I am a member of the J.H. Ketchum Hose Company, and I may benefit from this plan down the road.
Resolution authorizing the 2022 Town of Dover Firefighters Length of Service Award Program, LOSAP. Whereas the Town of Dover adopted a Length of Service Awards Program, LOSAP, for the members of the J.H. Ketchum Hose Company, which provides fire and emergency services to the Town of Dover. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby accept the Annual Length of Service Award, LOSAP, reports for the 2022 year prepared by J.H. Ketchum Hose Company, Inc., as attached hereto and made a part thereof this resolution for the 2022 LOSAP credits. Can I have a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Jackson, seconded by Murphy. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carried.
I recuse due to the fact of the information I stated earlier. Thank you.
That's right.
No title.
Hmm?
No title. Resolution to authorize the fourth payment for construction of new highway vehicle and equipment facility. Whereas construction of the new Highway Department vehicle and equipment facility continues by Land Vscape Incorporated, DBA Nicky Diggs Excavation, and whereas pursuant to the terms of the contract, a fourth payment is due to the contractor in the amount of $78,766.54. Now therefore be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Dover does hereby authorize the fourth payment for construction of the new highway vehicle and equipment facility to Land Vscape Incorporated, DBA Nicky Diggs Excavation, in the amount of $78,766.54. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Brought by House, seconded by Murphy. Discussion. That thing came along. It looks good.
Snowflakes.
They did some final inspections the other day, Joe. They got a little punch list, but it looks good. It's definitely a big plus to the highway garage. It was much needed, and we found a way to make it happen, and we did. So I appreciate all the help, Joe, and everybody else, the board, and everybody that sat on the committee to do it. Anybody else? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried, one absent. At this point in time, is there any public comments? Please approach the podium.
Actually, more of a question than a comment. With respect to the update to the zoning code, is there, can you talk about, or whether there's a public involvement in that? Can the public sit in on those meetings? Is there a public comment period? And if so, maybe can you post on the website how it's all going to work, when the meetings are going to occur, that kind of thing?
They're just committee meetings. They meet twice a month. Are we still trying to do?
Once.
Once? So we meet once a month. The comprehensive process, they met twice. But it's just a committee meeting held here at whatever day everybody can be there. I would be open to just take some short emails as suggestions or whatever, but I'll talk to the chairman, who is Rich Renia Jr., about taking in public information or concerns, putting them in place. They'll talk about it. It's just it's not an open meeting like it would be with planning or zoning. They meet when they can. But once they get going, we could probably share some sort of update. I don't think that would be hard.
There would certainly be a public hearing before any of that.
Before it puts in place, it's a public hearing process, yes.
Any zoning code amendments, excuse me, have to be done by local law, which requires a public hearing.
Right.
But-
But the public can't participate?
You're
or at
looking to
least-
see changes that they make? Is that what you're saying?
Or at least observe the meetings, and if not participate, but at least observe the meetings?
I can't promise that. I'll talk to the chairman about it, but right now, there's no set date. It's when they work every day. So it's when they can get together, and I'll bring it to them, though.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
yep.
Good evening. My name is Bill Crane. I live on 254 Gardner Hollow Road in Poquag. I live just a few hundred yards from Dover. The last couple of weeks, we've watched the cutting of what the lumber company tells us is 600 acres of trees. I want to put in a word for the protection of trees and then make a couple specific points with respect to this cutting. They're a vital part of our natural environment. Trees prevent soil erosion, absorb pollutants, and provide homes to wildlife. They add beauty to our lives. Trees also give us much of the oxygen we breathe. In fact, they oxidize about half the planet. They provide about half the oxygen for the planet, and animal life wouldn't even be here without trees. And because they absorb carbon dioxide, they are a major defense against global warming. We must do what we can to protect trees. Those of us who live on Gardner Hollow Road are just horrified by what we see. The trucks pouring down, cutting trees. Thousands of trees are being cut down. We don't know what to do. I looked at the codes in Dover on clear cutting and logging. As far as I can tell, all they say is you've got to go get a permit. I would encourage you for the future to look at your codes. There's going to be runoff pollution since the trees hold the soil. It's going to come down into our town and down our road. It's going to be disastrous for us. And when we walk up there to see what's going on, the logging firm, they says, oh, it's strictly logging. But when we look around, they're not like logging. They say they're taking down the mature trees and leaving the young ones to grow. But when we look around, it's just clear cutting here and nothing here. More clear cutting here. It looks like a naive observer would think it's being prepared for development. I ask you to look into these questions. What's going on there, and is there anything you can do? It's probably asking too much, but anything you can do to hold it off until you can find out what's going on, we would appreciate it.
You're saying the logging is being done in the town of Dover or Beekman?
Dover.
Is it on the state property?
No.
Uh,
It's on this Starkdale property. It's on the Starkdale property, and I can send you...
Starkdale Farm off of West Dover.
Yes, and I can send you the representative from the logging firm says it's 600 acres. It's just an enormous amount of trees cutting down. They come down the road. I don't think our road can even handle it, but it's a dirt road and there's a bridge there. It comes down Gardner Hollow Road. Gardner Hollow Road is a dirt road at the top and goes right up to Dover. And then you look down and there's all this cutting, just as far as you can see. And it's tons and tons of loads of the trees. It's in your town. It's in Dover, and I don't know what they're doing. I really.
Are they still an operating farm?
I called your office and they say they have a permit.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean the codes don't say anything about restrictions. I assume they're still an operating farm. It's very hard to get information from them, although they have representatives that try to be real nice and say, don't worry, the trees will all grow back. And these are mature...
There is a process that they have to go through in order to get that permit. Joe Berger, you want to help us out on that? Yeah. What is the process that they have to go through to obtain a land clearing or a logging permit in Dover now? Thank you, Bill.
Basically, they have to fill an application with the building department that gets reviewed to make sure that all the erosion control is in place, and that there's no other permits are needed, DEC or otherwise, no endangered species, no wetlands. And all those things are done in following state rules and forestry regulations. If all that is in place, the town building department issues a forestry permit, which then gets reviewed by Don. If any questions, Don calls me out and I go look at the site. But it's, it's pretty intensive application to make sure there's nothing wrong.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's over 3 minutes, but can I make a couple
Go ahead.
points? The timber rattlesnake is a threatened species. The DEC will allow cutting maybe while it's dormant, but their habitat is endangered. There's Brook Stream. What's going to happen with the Brook Stream? We already can see the erosion coming down the hill.
Okay, I'll look into it, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else for public comments? Please approach the podium. I'm going to clarify one thing. I'm going to read a letter that we received a couple weeks ago. I've been accused of giving false information, and I've also been called a liar by using this certain New York State department. This is a letter I received from the Public Service Commission a couple weeks ago. Dear Supervisor Yeno and Chairman Courtine, I understand that the Town of Dover Planning Board is considering an application for a site plan, special permit, and erosion and sediment control permit related to an electric substation proposed by New York Transco LLC, which would be sited at the corner of routes 22 and 26 in the Town of Dover. I write to explain the importance of Transco's proposed electric substation. The project is a critical component of the state's effort to modernize and expand its alternating current AC transmission capability, which will allow the delivery of additional power for generating facilities located in upstate and central New York, including important renewable resources to population centers throughout the state, including Dutchess County. Through a process that started in 2014, the Public Service Commission and the New York Independent System Operator Incorporated, NYISO, via their respective roles under the Public Policy Transmission Planning process established pursuant to the state and federal law, address the fact that no large-scale, high-voltage AC transmission facilities had been constructed in New York State in over 30 years, resulting in aging and congested transmission infrastructure that could not adequately accommodate the state's future energy needs. Through its role under the PPTP process, the Commission found, in an order issued on December 17, 2015, the transmission interfaces located in upstate and central New York are persistently congested, and such congestion contributes significantly to higher energy costs and reliability concerns, whereas increasing the transfer capability of those sections of the transmission system could produce a number of valuable benefits for New York. To address these transmission needs and reduce energy costs in the state, the NYISO ultimately selected a solution to the transmission needs that is divided into segments A and B. Segment B, which is Transco's proposed Dover electric substation, includes the following project components: a new 55-mile, 345 kilovolt electric transmission line from Shodak to Pleasant Valley, a new switching station in Shodak, New York, a rebuilt switching station in Claverack, New York, a new capacitor bank station in Pleasant Valley, New York, ancillary transmission upgrade work in Rensselaer, Dutchess, and Columbia counties, and a 12-mile electric transmission upgrade that will strengthen the grid between the Rock Tavern and Sugarloaf substations in Orange County by replacing an aging overhead 115 kV line on lattice structures with a new 115 kV line on monopole structures in an existing transmission corridor. The two segments subject to Commission jurisdiction were long ago approved through Public Service Law, PSL, Article 7, the state's one-stop shopping law related to the siting of major transmission facilities, and are currently under construction and closing in on an end of year 2023 in-service timeframe. Combined, The two AC transmission segments represent an over $1.4 billion investment in the state's electric transmission grid and again would result in lower energy costs in the state. Delay in Planning Board's approval of Dover Substation would prevent Segment B from providing its full transfer capabilities and other clean energy benefits to the state, resulting in continuing existing interface congestion on important parts of the state's bulk electric system. In sum, the Dover Electric Substation project is a critical component of expanding the state's transmission system and will provide greater reliability to that system, full energy transfer capabilities, and greater access to clean energy and lower costs to all utility customers in the state. Please let me know if you would like any further information or would like to speak to experts at the Department of Public Service regarding the benefits of the proposed electric substation project. Respectfully submitted, Roy Christian, Chief and Chair Executive Officer of the Public Service Commission. I read that because I don't like being called a liar. I will not lie to you. I will tell you what you need to hear. The problem is some people don't like hearing it. We've done our due diligence. I said it was supported by the PSC, and this letter proves that to the person who wanted to call me out. End of story. Sir?
Can I have the floor for a minute?
Go ahead.
I would like to know if we could have a copy of that letter.
You could foil it.
Post it on your website.
If it's foilable, you can foil it.
Supervisor,
Okay,
it is available on our
I once sued a
website.
utility company, Con Edison. The lawsuit lasted 20 years. My parents died of cancer. Children got hurt, cancer all over the area. So my lawsuit began. I got death threats. My lawyers got threatened. Doctors got threatened. Experts got threatened. Colleges that were helping me got threatened. Environmental organizations got big donations not to be involved with me. So I know what courage you have to stop this project, or at least get into what's really happening here, and I do commend you very much.
Thank you, sir. Meeting's coming up Wednesday, March 29th of 2023, then the following April 26th and May 31st. If there are no other comments, I move to adjourn this meeting at 7:19. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. I move to adjourn this meeting but enter into an executive session not to return to the bench. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by myself and a second by Deputy Supervisor House to end this meeting but enter into an executive session and not to return to the bench. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried, one absent. Thank you very much, everybody. Be safe out there tonight.